Hello there, Mr. Caterpillar. There's a lot going on out there, mate. Tell you what, you and I are just a little speck compared to what's going on out there. But don't worry, mate. No matter how small or insignificant that might make you feel, you're still amazing.
Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the channel. You know, if you're new here, you know, if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, you know, I'm Zachary. Nice to meet you. You know, welcome to Bud Talk or Jones Confidential, whichever one you want to call it. I guess it's kind of both. But you know, I make spiritual videos. I talk about, you know, life, spirituality, psychedelics, anything like that. That's just what I'm into. That's who I am, and that's who I'm gonna be. So welcome to the channel. Let's get this going. So today's video, you know, I just wanted to come sit up here before I go into work in a couple hours and, you know, film another video. I got part 2 coming to my LSD experience story time pretty soon. I'm probably gonna film that tomorrow, just because I wanna sit down. I wanna go through some of the old memories that I have on my Snapchat. You know, my Snapchat memories. You know, ask some of my friends what the experience was. You know, from their perspective and things like that, and you know, just get that going. But just give me one second. I gotta adjust something. All right. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it. So basically, I wanna wait a little bit and, you know, like I said, get things from their perspective. But today's video, I'm gonna be talking about just life, you know, sometimes people. Sorry about the noise in the background, by the way. I feel like I should tell you guys about it. There's a lawnmower, there's a lot of noise, so it's not gonna be perfect, but you know what? It's a video, and I'm making it. But you know, what I really wanted to talk about is just, you know, being who you are. You know, being authentic. You know, not trying to be somebody you're not, and you know, that's really what it all boils down to, you know? I feel like we all go through life and, you know, we put on this facade. Give me like a few minutes. I'm gonna wait till that passes so it doesn't interfere with the audio too much. So, give me 1 minute. Man, that's really loud. Alright, I guess that's good enough. I don't know how it's coming through on the camera, so it's hard to really gauge, you know, how loud it is until I watch it back later when I edit. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. I've rambled enough, man. I've rambled enough. One thing about me is, like, I go on these tangents. I have ADHD pretty bad, so it's hard for me to get on one track of something. Like, I go to all these different topics, but I'm gonna try my best here. I'll try my best for you guys. So, you know, being somebody you're not, you know, I feel like we all do that sometimes. We all go through life and, you know, we see something that someone else is doing and they convince us to do it, or they convince us, hey, you should try this out, you know, you should, why are you doing this, you know? You could be doing this instead. This is so much better. But if you don't want to do something, like if that isn't your calling and you're not drawn to that, I don't feel like you should have to do it. Like, I don't feel like you should compromise yourself or your own spiritual path for anybody, like family or anything. Like, I have a lot of my relatives like think that I should go into nursing school and things like that, which, I mean, I guess that's what they think that I should do for success in life, but I don't. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't feel drawn to do that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think nursing is an amazing thing. Lots of people need to do it, but I don't feel like I'm one of those people that need to go out here and do that. It's not my authentic self. You know what I mean? And you know, if you're not being your authentic self and you're not, you know, going after your calling, then what are you doing? What's, you know, like, you're just pretending at that point. You know, you're pretending to be somebody you're not. And that's really what I wanted to go into for a little bit, is being like, when you get into that mindset, you know, because slowly over time it'll eat at you. You know, I've had jobs where it's just not who I am. It doesn't fit me in that time frame, and I'm like, it just makes me miserable, you know. But 1 second, I don't know if it'll come across really bad on the camera. Okay, yeah, he's going over there. We're good. But you just have to find what you want to do in life and take steps, one step at a time, to get there. You know, it doesn't have to be overnight, you know? I'm not saying go and quit your job or something, you know what I mean? But don't actively use your entire life force to pursue something that's not for you, you know? Now, with that being said, like, if you have a little job out here that, you know, may not be the best pay or the best thing in the world, you know, then that's fine. Just save some money, you know, work towards your goals one step at a time, but pursue your dreams, you know? Don't let your dreams die. I feel like that happens to a lot of people. They let the world beat this idea into them that they have to be this thing that they're not. They have to go and work this job or they're gonna fail. That this dream is, you know, it's a pipe dream, you know? Don't let anyone tell you that. Don't let anyone tell you that your dreams don't matter. Your dreams matter, man. You can do amazing things in this world. And, you know, it may not seem like it now. It may seem like, you know, it's hard to get there. You know, I have to do all this stuff, and that's because you're looking at it in a wide scale, you know? What I've noticed, and it really helps me out with achieving my goals, is see your life as a quest, right? And you have all these different quest lines you can go down, right? And if you see your life as a quest, you can turn this quest off for a little while to go after this one. You know, and go down this quest line, and that unlocks more and more options. So every quest line you complete and go down unlocks more quest lines, and eventually you have all these different branches of things you can do, and you're like, man, this is crazy. I've achieved so much before I even realized it. And instead of sitting there looking at everything in one big picture and be like, oh, and just getting overwhelmed with yourself, you know, take it one step at a time, one quest line at a time. You know, learn something, go to the different quest line, and just figure out, you know, you can use that to figure out, you know, what you want to do in life if you don't really have an idea. And eventually you'll come across something you're like, man, this is who I am. This is it. And for me, that's like, I think that's, you know, plants, mycology, ethnobotany, just anything like that. Anything with nature, psychedelics, plant medicine. Like, that's just who I am, you know? And I'm not going to try to change myself for anybody. Like, I'm not going to get on here and, you know, change up all of a sudden and be like, this stuff is bad, I regret ever saying that. No, this is who I am. And just because someone else has a view of what I do or what I believe in, and that's wrong, that's wrong, you shouldn't be doing that, it doesn't change who I am, you know? I'm not gonna let that change me, and you shouldn't let others' opinions of you change you either. And that's something I've really struggled with a lot, and I'm done with it, man. I'm done letting others' opinions change who I am. And, you know, I've been very cautious on what I talk about on this channel around the psychedelics and, you know, stuff like that, and weed and everything. But a lot of that stuff is just who I am, man. It's what I enjoy with life. It's you know, it's a mystery. It's I love it. And you know, I just sat one day and I realized, you know, if I'm not really talking about what I really want to talk about, and I'm not putting out there what I really want to put out there, then there's really no point for me to have this channel at all. If it's just going to be a facade of me trying to be someone I'm not. You know, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. And I'm going to discuss what I want to discuss. And if somebody has a problem with that, you know, they don't have to watch the videos. And I'm not trying to be negative, but that's just how it is. Like, I'm done being apologetic for who I am. I'm going to live my full, authentic self. You know? And I feel like if a lot of people started doing that, man, the world would be so much more mystical. You know? The world would be amazing. You'd have all these people out here achieving their dreams, you know, going out here and living their best life instead of being stuck and being miserable for the rest of their life at, you know, something they don't want to do. But, you know, sorry if I rambled on there on a loop, but, you know, that's just what's been on my mind lately. And, you know, let me know what you guys think about some of that stuff. You know, be who you are, you know, not living your authentic self, things like that. And, you know, I think that the world is way too big and life seems to be way too short and time is moving way too fast for me to walk around and pretend to be somebody else. You know? And I know I'm not the only one that feels time moving so fast now. Like, everyone I've talked to says, yeah, time's moving so fast. Regardless of age. Regardless of their age, you're like, time is moving so quick. It's moving so fast. A year's gone in a second, you know? And I feel like it's just going to get faster and faster and faster. I don't, you know, it's like some sort of phenomenon's going on with time, and it's just speeding up to some ridiculous extent. So it makes, I don't know if it's just a perception of it or what, but, you know, it just makes me want to cherish the present moment even more. It makes me want to cherish who I am even more. It makes me want to go out here and do things even more, you know? It makes me want to just be who I am and be grateful for the time that I have. And I feel like a lot of people just forget about it. They go to sleep, I'll always have tomorrow, you know, there will always be tomorrow. Maybe there won't be a tomorrow. We don't have a guarantee with that, man. We don't have a guarantee, you know? We should wake up every day and be grateful that we wake up and go out here and live our best lives. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that. You know, there is no reason why we should walk around and parade around and putting on all these different faces, you know, every day. Be you. And if someone doesn't like that, then they don't have to be in your life, you know? And that's okay. You will find people who like you for who you are. You will find your tribe. Remember that, you know? Keep that in mind when people start, because people will start to leave your life, you know? You'll start to lose connections with people. You'll start to, people who you once held really, really close to you will start to feel like that. And that's okay, because other people will come in, you know, you'll start to draw other people to you that match your frequency. And you'll start to build this, you know, you'll build this little community, you know? And I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think a lot of people, you know, don't realize that they can do that, you know? They feel like they have to be stuck, and they don't see a way out. But there's a way out, you know? Just don't be somebody you're not, man. But that being said, I'm gonna have to end the video before I ramble on too much more, you know? I just wanted to film this and talk to you guys a little bit and just get some things off my mind. I do got a video coming tomorrow, I promise. I'm going to film it tomorrow, and that's gonna be the part 2 to the LSD experience. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And, you know, if you guys like ghost hunts and paranormal investigations, go check out mine and my buddy Devin's channel, Mass Mysteria. He's my best friend, man. I love him to death. You guys would love him. I'm definitely, I've said it in the previous video, but I'm definitely gonna have him on as a podcast episode pretty soon. Just whenever we can find the time. But Mass Mysteria, like hysteria, but it's mystery, like mysteria. So you'll see it. It's like a, I'll put a link to it in description of this video. But if you guys enjoyed this video, if you would like to, you could leave a like and subscribe. It helps push everything into the algorithm, helps get everything going, get some traction going with the channel. But I just want to put a good message out there to the world. I want to speak my truth and speak from my authentic self, from who I really am, and not hide from that and not run from that anymore, But yeah, I love you guys, and thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for sitting here. If you sat all the way through, I really appreciate it, man. It's I know I can go on these rambles sometimes, but thank you. It means a lot to me that there's people that out here liking what I have to say. But if I can make a positive impact in anybody's life in any kind of way, even if it's just a small way, that warms my heart, man. That's what I'm here to do. That's my purpose. But yeah, that being said, I hope you guys have had a very, very, very good day or night, whatever time it is that you're from. Peace out, man. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later.